Hello, Startup Vision. I am Patrick Bousquet-Chavanne, the President and CEO of EShop World Americas.
Hello, Patrick. Thank you so much for being with us today on Startup Vision TV. So ESW reached the status of unicorn, and your value proposition is to provide global online shopping for brands, giving their customers a localized shopping experience. So how do you deal with the cultural differences?
Hello, Florence. A pleasure to be here with you today. Cultural differences is sometimes the most prominent challenge brands face when they try to take their proposition on a global scale. And many times the reflexes, the know-how that you've built in your domestic market doesn't quite translate internationally, or you venture and you realize that local consumers don't actually connect with your brands. At EShop World, we service about 200 markets around the world, and we actually bring most of the brand's proposition in retail to those international marketplaces, and therefore understanding the local consumer behaviors intimately is quite important.
Yeah, because in fact, what you propose to brands is to do their website as if it was like native from the country you're in, to be exposed as a local website. That's what it is.
And that's actually the holy grail, right? You don't want a local consumer to feel that they are buying in a different language than theirs. You want them to be able to use their local payments, the one that they feel are secure, expedient, and trusted. And they vary obviously greatly from one country to the next one. So it is indeed about being as native as possible. Address fields vary greatly, from country to country. How do you bring an accurate, basically, understanding of that customer takes many lenses.
I wanted to ask you, what are the challenges brands face when they're scaling their business online, for example?
Well, I think that the degree of there are two main challenges, like the complexity, generally speaking, grows substantially, and the cost grows substantially as you're taking your brand proposition to multiple international markets. And again, it goes back to the teams, the culture, the capabilities that you've probably established, which are solid in your home market, don't travel that well. And the complexity obviously gets multiplied. We have some brands asking us to take them to 15, 20, 100 markets or more. And therefore, you have to really dissect the complexity and bring it down to a certain ease of retailing in as many geography. But just to name some of those challenges, obviously regulatory environments varies greatly country by country. You have GDLP in Europe, you have local payment in Brazil, but you need local banking to support your local transactions. If you only have an international credit card in Brazil, you will have a very substantial bounce rate at the checkout level. But you also have duties, taxes to deal with that do impact your final retail price, obviously. And you don't want the customer to have to think twice about understanding what is the final price he or she will pay in that local country. So payment option, as I was mentioning earlier, are actually quite important.
When you explain all that, we see how difficult it is for brands to expand internationally, in fact. And you mentioned logistics. Well, it's at the heart of your business, as you said, how do you manage those aspects worldwide?
Well, the company has actually two main pillars, if I may say. One is indeed the technology that gets integrated into most of the main technology platforms around the world. The Salesforce of this world, Magento, and many others, and obviously a technological solution that eliminates and solutions actually all the key questions about that I've mentioned earlier, from pricing to local language and customer relationships. So that's one thing. The technology is a big part of it. On the other side, you have actually the expertise in fulfillment. And that is probably one of the most essential differentiator today. You do need to very efficiently deliver a product from a location or multiple locations. That is becoming more and more complex today as retailers and brands are going omni-channel, and they are trying to basically allow their customers to buy online, ship from stores, buy online, collect from stores, buy online, return to stores. So you have a variety of fulfillment options that the consumers really expect now from brands to deliver to them. So our expertise is really in that area of what I call logistics architecture, and how we can indeed design for the brands that we've worked with the best cross-border and local, basically, fulfillment solution. I mean, one of our actually expertise also come from the facts that we're leveraging our main shareholder. And one of the main shareholders that we have in the company is the Essendia Group, which actually is a joint venture between the French group La Poste and the Swiss Post. And they have, over the last many years, built an amazing international e-commerce fulfillment architecture that takes you from 17 top countries into about 200 destinations. And they have optimized what are the best routes on a given product category. So we deeply leverage also those capabilities.
That's very impressive. And what do you think will be the next innovations in e-commerce in the years to come?
Well, I think we are witnessing an amazing fast-paced transformation of consumer behaviors. And COVID was just an accelerator of what was to come. So it was a pivotal moment, and I think one that has a lasting impact on the industry. But there are some very key, permanent, in my mind, takeaways that the consumers are impacting innovation within the e-com world. Number one is anything that basically can give you speed to market. So there's a variety of technologies that will make the transaction online a very efficient and fast one. So that a lot of tech company in that space. Another one, clearly, if you think about, we all basically today go online on our cell phone and smartphones and small screen, even though you have some larger screens, but the finger interface, as I call it, is actually quite cumbersome. So we're seeing tremendous potential for voice commerce, and obviously through Google Home, Alexa, and many others. I think that the voice interface has brilliant days ahead, but that comes with the complexity of technology, being able to integrate multiple languages and dialects as well, so that the interface can transport and ease the transaction for the customer. But Alexa, order me and reorder me some milk, right? For example, it's so much easier than entering basically that on your cell phone. And there are projections that say that by the end of next year, in the US, about $40 billion of revenues online will be generated through voice commerce. So it's really a massive opportunity. The other one, which is probably more coming out of Asia, is social commerce and out of China, where already a substantial part of e-com transaction are done no longer on the traditional platforms through your web browser. They are clearly done from smartphone on mobile, either from marketplaces, but as well from social traditional website, who have a very engaged customer base and are able to convert without getting the customers outside their ecosystem. I mean, we can see social selling on Facebook, for example, picking up greatly, some great momentum. So that's probably the very important one. And in some product categories, which are influencers dependent, for example, the beauty sector, social commerce is really growing extremely fast. And maybe the last innovation I think we need to mention, if you look at the US, I think the numbers that by 2024, you'll get about 110 million households in the US which have smart television, completely connected. And here again, I think you will be able, without having to leave that platform, to shop directly online from those content providers. So the platform will continue to evolve, and commerce seems to be the common currency that a lot of those platforms will have.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for sharing all those thoughts and seeing the future with us on such a topic like e-commerce. Thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Florence. Good to be with you.